Everyone is talking about the economy. Prices are going up, jobs feel less secure, and big companies like Amazon are making billions while small businesses shut down. It all feels connected, like one big mess that's hard to figure out. But there is one thing making it worse. No one is really talking about it. Most people don't even know it exists. It's called private equity, and it's hurting all of us more than you might think. What is private equity and why should you care? Private equity is like a magic trick, but it's not the fun kind. It's the kind where the audience gets fooled and only the magician walks away with a reward. Here's a psychological move. Private equity firms uses what calls moral distancing. They make decisions that hurt people like cutting wages or raising rents, but because they are so far removed from the impact, they don't feel bad about it. To them, it's just numbers on a spreadsheet. Here's how it works. Private equity firms buy businesses using borrowed money. The business itself, not the firm, gets stuck with a debt. To pay it off, the firm slashes costs and squeezes every last penny out of the business before selling it or let it collapse. It's like taking a healthy, thriving plant and ripping out the roots and trying to sell the wilted leaves as premiums produce. But it's not just numbers on a page, it's people's life. Let me show you how this plays out with a simple story. Coffee shop example. Imagine your favorite coffee shop chain gets bought by a private equity firm. They pay $30 million for it, but only uses $10 million of their own money, borrowing the rest. Now, the coffee shop has to pay off that $20 million debt. Here's where the psychology kicks in. Private equity firms make decisions based on short-term rewards and instant dopamine hits for their investors. They don't care about the long-term health of the business because they plan to sell it fast. And what does that mean for you? Well, prices go up. Prices go up, your $5 coffee is now $6.50. You feel frustrated and might pay it anyway. Because psychological, you're attached to your morning ritual. Wages are frozen, employees stop feeling less valued and quit. This creates a ripple effect of poor services, which makes you, the customer, feel less satisfied. Quality drops and they use cheaper beans so your coffee tastes worse. This erodes the trust. But because they own competing chains, you might not even realize switching shops won't solve the problem. Psychological outcome. You feel powerless, and when people feel powerless, they tend to suggest exactly what private equity firms are counting on. But this problem isn't just about coffee, it's about everything, including something far more serious like healthcare. The private equity takeover of healthcare. Now let's talk about healthcare, something that affects every one of us. When private equity firms buy hospital, clinics, or even urgent care centers, they use the same playbook. Load them with debt, cut the costs, maximize profits. But healthcare isn't just any business, it's deeply personal. Psychological, we all crave for safety and trust when it comes to our health. When that trust is broken, when you are told it will take 6 weeks to see a doctor, or when the bills skyrocket after a simple produce, it creates anxiety and stress. Here is how private equity undermines healthcare. Appointments cost more. This creates financial stress, which can lead to people delaying care, making health problems worse. Wait times grow. Being told to wait weeks for care taps into a deep sense of helplessness, a feeling that no one is prioritizing your well-being. The doctor are pressured to upsell. This erodes the trust, and when you suspect your doctor is recommending tests or treatments for profit, you start questioning their motives. And the worst part, when your healthcare is controlled by investors who only care about profits, your health becomes secondary. It's no longer about what's best for you, it's about what makes them the most money. Housing. The next target, let's shift to housing. It's not just coffee shops or healthcare, private equity is buying up homes too. Have you ever felt that gut-wrenching fear of not being able to afford rent, or the heartbreak of losing a bid on a house because someone outbid you by tens of thousands of dollars. That's the psychological pain of private equity is creating in the housing market. Here's how it works. Private equity firms buy homes and apartments building in bulk. They flood the market, drives up the prices, and leaves families unable to compete. Once they own the properties, they turn them into high-rent units, trapping people in a cycle of paying more and owning nothing. The psychology here is rooted in scarcity. When housing becomes scarce and people panic, they will stretch their budgets, take on debt, or settle for less than ideal living conditions, all because the alternative feels even scarier. And here's the kicker. These firms aren't just buying homes, they are buying entire neighborhoods. So even if you move, you're still paying them. This steps into a profound fear we all have, the fear of not having a safe place to call home. And that fear is exactly what private equity preys on. Private equity is everywhere. By now, you might be thinking, how much of this stuff do they own? The answer is more than you think. Private equity firms don't just buy businesses, they buy entire industry, restaurants, gym, grocery stores, even brands you trust. They own them all. This creates a psychological trap known as learned helplessness. When you realize that every choice you make, whether it's where to eat, shop, or even live, is controlled by the same handful of firms, you start to feel like your choices don't matter. And when people feel their choices don't matter, they stop trying to fight back. But that is exactly what these firms are counting on. It's why we need to break this cycle. So, what can you do? It's easy to feel overwhelmed, but here is the good news. You are not powerless. Psychological action is one of the best ways to fight feelings or helplessness. Here's what you can do. Learn and share. Start by understanding which companies are owned by private equity. Share this video to help others and see the bigger picture. Awareness is the first step toward change. Support local businesses. Choose businesses that prioritize their workers and customers, not just profits. Push for change. Advocate for stronger regulations that hold private equity firms accountable. Politicians need to know where we are paying attention. Vote with your wallet. Every time you spend money, you are making a statement about the kind of world you want to live in. Closing message. Private equity wants to stay in the shadows. They rely on us feeling too small or too confused to fight back. But here's the truth. The more we understand, the harder it is for them to operate unchecked. This isn't just about money. It's about power. It's about who controls the world we live in and how much control we as everyday people are willing to give up. If this video opened your eyes, share it. Let's shine light on the system that rigged against us, and let's fight back. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos that uncover the truth about the system shaping your lives and how you can protect it.